Hello, this is Professor Bustillo-Booth, and in this video tutorial, I'll walk you through stage 2 of the secret shopper activity, where you will develop the secret shopper prompts you will use to observe your small business. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is to locate the template, and there are a couple ways to do that. One of which is to go to modules and go directly to the assignment. Now, this video is for several sections, and the assignment may be in a different module, but in this example, it's in week 5, I believe, and right here. And if you're looking to it now before the assignment is unlocked, you will get a message that says the assignment is locked until a certain date. And so another way to go locate the template itself is to go to modules and go under resources. And under resources, a section called project resources. And in it, there will be video tutorials, and I'll add this third one when it is available. And then the templates themselves are available here. Note that there are 5 stages, but you see 4 templates, and that in the 4th template are the 4th and 5th stage. We are concerned with the 2nd stage today, the secret shopper template for the prompts themselves. Okay, so I'll go ahead and click that. And since this is an Excel spreadsheet, we are going to go ahead and download it. All right, so when you download the spreadsheet, you will find that there are 2 worksheets inside, and there are tabs in the bottom. It'll tell you which 2, and you can toggle between the 2 of them. And so here is the observation template. This will be the main. This will be the tab that you will be working within to fill, right? And I'll just go to scroll this up so you can see the whole thing. However, we will spend much of our time in this discussion in the instructions so that I can walk you through what I expect. And so the instructions will be here, which is basically the same template, only it has, you know, kind of placeholder statements in here to kind of guide you through as you develop your template. So of course you'll put the company name and the marketing objective, and for the vast majority of you, the marketing objective is going to be to improve customer service. All right, and how you do that is you have to learn about their customer service experience as a secret shopper. Now I will go ahead and first have you look at the entire scorecard here, and then walk you through elements of it. So a couple things to keep in mind is that do not in any way change the column sizes of the document. All right, because if you do that, it will become unmanageable for me to view your work, as well as for other peers to see your work well. So keep the column sizes as they are. All right. The other thing you'll notice is that there are 3 possible observation areas where you can, collect scores, and these are for those sites that have additional sites, those businesses that have additional locations. If you have one business that only has, 1 location, you can only observe it once at that location. You may observe it multiple times if you wish for your own purposes, but these additional observations will not be for extra credit. Okay, so in that case, you will only have 1 observation, and it is not for competitor observations. This is just for the particular business that you are currently secret shopping for. Okay, so also you'll notice that there are 5 categories of observations, and where you will need 5 observations each. So the first area is the first impression. So think of it in terms of your experience from beginning to end, right? So in the customer service, first impressions is important. As you drive in or walk into the place, you're going to have an impression of what the place is like, and then you will then have an impression as you walk into the place, an impression of the employees, right? And then you'll go into the transaction mode, path to purchase, and then then you will, if you are going through that, end of purchase, if there's going to be a return policy, and attempts to have your loyalty. That would be end of purchase stage. And then there is this general category of the marketing mix, where you will generally observe their product, price, place, and promotion. And this will become more meaningful to you as we go into, closer to the middle part of the quarter. All right, so what you want to do then, and I'll go ahead and zoom in, is to develop your prompts before you observe. So, which means that all of these are predetermined before you start your observation. These are not meant to be developed as you are observing. That is an incorrect way of progressing through this exercise. And these are also statements, not questions. And so they're predetermined in the sense that you are writing in here standards against which you will observe and rate from 1 to 5, 1 being a low score, 5 being a high score, the business's performance against that standard. So a standard for customer service first impression might be the parking lot is clean and free of debris, right? And as you observe, did they score really low 1 or did they score really high 5? And you'll put that number here, okay? And in some cases, you will have an additional other observational point. So for example, here in the employee behavior section, an associate or associates greets me by this amount of time, and you are, you have your phone ready to go because you planned this out, because you have your predetermined questions ready to go. You will start to kind of clock it, right? And they're like, oh, that took them 7 minutes to greet me, and so you put 7 minutes in here, and because you're the secret shopper, you're going to evaluate that and say, was that good or was that bad? And usually an associate should acknowledge your presence, within 3 to 5 minutes of you entering the store. I mean, 5 minutes is getting too long. So if there's 7, that's probably more like a 1 or 2. Somebody ought to be looking out for customers, because that's how business actually makes its money. So that's how you score that. And then you'll obviously want to have, because this is the assignment, to have 5 observational prompts per category. Again, these are not questions. Is the parking lot clean and free of debris? Because that you cannot actually assign a degree score. That's a yes or no question, right? You want to be able to establish a standard. This is like your rubric, basically. And then you are going to be able to evaluate the business against your rubric, right? And again, you need to establish this beforehand. And these should be in present tense. Now, earlier video tutorials might have had things there in past tense, but suffice it to say that you really ought to have present tense in here, all right? So you'll go through here and have 5 prompts per, so that you have things to observe. Now, the notes section is really, really, really important. If you don't have notes, you will have a very, very difficult time putting together recommendations, because you don't have anything to recommend against. You won't remember necessarily what happened and whatnot. And besides, this is part of my rubric to evaluate your work. So the notes area is meant for you to capture in qualitative terms what it is you observe. So you'll want to write notes per line. It will help you a tremendous amount later when you are writing your narrative and your recommendations against, what it is you've observed with the store. Or not just a store, but with your particular business. Okay? So I expect that those be written in each one of the lines that you see here. Okay. So the other thing to keep in mind is that if you do actually observe something that you had not anticipated, you go ahead and write that in the notes area, and then that will be curious for you to see how you would then integrate that into your recommendations. Even if it were not an observational point, but you did observe something that was noteworthy within these categories, go ahead and write that so that you can note that to yourself, and then you can go back to it when it's time for you to write your recommendations. All right, I hope that was helpful to you. Be sure to watch the other video tutorials because they will go over other elements of the project that I may not have gone over here as well. And if you do need my help, please reach out to me via Canvas email or set up an appointment with me for a one-on-one session. I am happy to help you. All right. Thanks for watching, and talk with you again soon.